I got my bolts right here, my replacements. They're actually from a donor tractor. Got them from JP Tractor Salvage. Thank you to those guys, they're awesome. I probably could have went out and bought my own bolts for it, but I'm kind of crazy with that when I do restorations. I like having the original style hardware in the machine itself. So, and I really don't want any foreign made hardware in my machines if I can all avoid it. So I reached out to them, they had them, they got them sent over to me, and we're going to put them in, and that'll wrap this up. After we get these guys changed out, we will take and put in our breather tube. And then after that, we will take and do our valve adjustments. And we'll close up this top end of this engine. I can put the oil pan back on the bottom because I won't be so scared of dropping something into it again. I looked around to see if there was a torque for these. I did not find anything. So I'm just gonna give it my all from here. There goes my wrench. They don't need to be really socked home. They just need to be good and snug. Make sure these guys are tight. And in my search for a torque spec for these bolts, in my manual, remember when we were putting the head on and I said that I couldn't find a torque sequence? Well, guess what I found? I found a torque sequence in one of my manuals. I have 3 manuals, it was in one of the 3. The good thing is we were really darn close on how we did it, so I'm not going to worry too much about that and how that all came out, but I just thought I'd share that with you. Okay, breather tube, and I just dropped my little compression sleeve. And hopefully this will work. I had to replace this piece here because the threads in it were kind of gone. And I'm hoping that what I'm replacing it with will suffice and everyone will be happy. I'm going to first engage this side because it was a problem child to begin with. It seems to be cooperating. And this again, this was all bent up when I got it, so I have to kind of tweak it as we go here. It doesn't bend easy. It is a very hard copper tube. Let me see if just a little tension on getting this guy in. Let's see. This guy is pretty good. Let me see if I can tighten this guy down at all. Oh yeah, it's going. I'm going to come over to the other side here. I don't mean to turn my back to you. And I thought this had oil that ran through it. This is just a breather tube. So, really don't need to worry about leakage so much because it's not like this engine has vacuum on it anywhere. It has a little hole there, obviously. It's all part of the breathing system. And it's a little close to that rocker arm, but it is not touching. Everyone is happy. That is in, that is done. The next thing we have to do is we have to take and adjust all the spacing on our valves. And I have to go through, I gotta look at the sequence to do it because you need to bring, you need to start on number 1, you need to bring number 1 up to, I believe it is top dead center where there's no pressure on either of the valves. It is, in the book it says to do it hot, you want it to be at 17 thousandths, I think it is, and cold, we're probably going to do it around 19 or 20. because when it gets hot, it's going to open up a little bit and things will expand on it, so it's going to close that distance on it. So we'll do about 19, 20 here, cold. Hot, I believe it is 17. I've got to get set up to do that. Let me get some stuff and we'll get into that. I'm back. I was able to take and remount the engine on my engine stand. Why I never did it this way to begin with, I couldn't tell you. I thought maybe there'd be things that would interfere with it, but I got it bolted directly on the plate now. Actually required that I drill another hole in the stem that goes into the engine stand so I could get it to stick out a little bit better than it normally would. And that's so this pin that's down on the crankshaft would clear the stand itself. So got that all fixed, was able to take and rotate 360 degrees with the crankshaft. So I was able to go through and set all of my valves. I just want to go through real quick how I did that. These are supposed to be set hot at 17 thousandths. At cold, you're looking somewhere around 19, 20. So I got my 19 and 20 feeler gauges out here, and it's real simple. All you're doing is, there is a method to do this where you could do it in 2 sets, and I have it right here in the book, and this is actually genius. You bring piston 1 up to top dead center, and it allows you to do valves 1, 2, 3, and 5. And I did those first. Then you bring piston 4 up to top dead center, and that will allow you to do valves 4, 6, 7, and 8. And those are counted from the front of the engine toward the rear. The front of the engine being 1, toward the rear being 8. So I was able to get those set. And what I do is real simple. I'm sure you guys are very familiar with this. Is you just take and you're going to loosen the locking nut. And then I take my screwdriver and my feeler gauges. I'm going to put 20 in there just so I have a little extra room. And I get it in there. And all I do is just take and adjust this screw it in or out, so I have the proper tension on that feeler gauge. And you don't want to crank it down and land it on the feeler gauge. I've seen people do that. That's not what you want to do. You want to crank it down, and it's totally a feel thing. It actually takes a lot of practice to be really good with this. But you should be able to feel some drag on that as you force it in and out of there. Not a ton, but just some drag. And that's about 20 thousandths. Hold it there. Bring my wrench back in, hold your screwdriver, take and tighten up on that lock nut. I'm loosening it. Make sure your screwdriver doesn't move. I'm really loosen that up a lot. I'm going to check that one more time because I kind of moved it around a little bit. So let me put my 20 thou back in there. It's a little on the tight side. These things are very sensitive, I've noticed. It doesn't take much to change the adjustment on them. So I'm going to have it a little on the tighter side. Take and get my wrench in here, hold it, and just lock it down real snug. And then take and check it again, make sure it doesn't move, because like I said, they're very sensitive and they do move. And that's good. That's 20 thou, 19, even better. So all of our valves are adjusted for the time being. Supposedly you're supposed to take and run it for a bit, warm it up real good, take and adjust them one more time. At that point you'll be adjusting them using the same routine we did here, just adjusting them to 17 thousandths. Which means at this point we can take and put our valve cover on. But before I do that, I need to point something out. If you notice my breather pipe here, I had it on the other side of the studs, and when I went to take and put my valve cover on, the valve cover stopped about an 1/8 inch short of the head itself, and I was like, what the heck's going on? Flipped it over, looked, could see that there were little holders, almost like arcs in the frame of the valve cover that held this pipe in place. Found out that you have the pipe on the wrong side. So I had to take, and if you remember, I told you this pipe was kind of bent up pretty bad from when I originally got it because someone had taken this apart. I wasn't sure what bends were correct and weren't. So I took and kind of cleaned it up and straightened it out the best I could. Well, ends up being I had to change some bends in it and things, clean it up, but now I have it in, it works, everything's good, which means now at this point we can, ta-da, we're closing up the engine. I got my brand new valve cover gasket there. I am not going to put any sealant on here, any RTV of any kind, because I'm going to have to come back in here, and I don't want to tear that up, so I'm not putting a new one on there. And then I'm going to take, and before I put this on, I am going to paint the inside of this valve cover a little bit of red oxide. I don't want to get any rust in there. If we get any condensation, it sits. So I'm going to take and hit this with some red oxide real quick, and then we'll put this on. So while I got my valve cover drying, I just sprayed it with some red oxide. There's a couple fittings that I need to put in here. This one right here, which is for the temperature sensor, goes here in the back. So I'm just going to take and put a little of my thread sealant on here. I try not to get this on my hands, because I normally do. I want to make sure that I coat this up pretty good, because I do not want this to leak. And I've had success. I'll take and get a wrench and tighten that up. Then I got one more that needs to go in right here. And this, I do believe, is part of the breather system. And even though it doesn't carry any liquid or anything through it, I am going to put just a little bit of sealant on it. It's not going to hurt anything. Not too much. That guy goes right here. And I'm not sure at the angle that it goes at, but I know it comes off this side. So I'm going to take and put that in. Let me get a couple wrenches and we'll tighten those up. Got those in, got those tightened up. One other thing that I want to bring to your attention, you probably can't see it, but I put the oil pan back on. It's back on. I actually did not use any RTV on it this time just because I'm scared to death. I might need to take it off again. I think it's going to be fine without it. Got that all buttoned up. I did torque all those bolts down. I think it was 168 inch-pounds is what it went to. But now I just got to go grab that valve cover, set it on here. We'll take and put it on with its nuts and its copper washers, and the top of the engine will be closed up. The only thing that leaves for us to do, I've got the oil filter holder, that's all been cleaned up. The one thing that we still have to do is I pulled apart the whole ignition drive system. We'll take and rebuild that, put that back together. We've already done our governor drive, so all of that should be set. I'm not going to put the governor on, I'm not going to put the oil filter holder on, and I'm not going to put the ignition drive on while I paint it. The only thing I have left that's going to go on here, I do believe, is the valve cover, and I think at that point we'll mask everything else off. I am going to put the water pump on, so we're also going to do that real quick. But let me go get that valve cover, we'll get that on, and we'll get the water pump on, and we can get this guy ready for paint. Before I put this valve cover on, I'm just going to take and just give everybody a little squirt of oil here at all of the junctions, just so there's a little something on here for everybody. Everything else should have plenty of oil on it. All of the valve contact points, all of the push rods have oil on them. I just wanted to give them a little something. I don't know if that was necessary, but I did it. My valve cover, sprayed the inside with the red oxide like I told you. Got my brand new cork gasket on here. We're just going to make sure that it's lined up as good as possible. And touchdown. I'll sleep better tonight knowing that the engine's closed up now. My copper washers and my 2 nuts that go on here. And I believe these are the nuts that go on here. Again, this was another one of those things where this was taken apart when I got this engine. So I'm just assuming that these are the correct ones, but they fit. I don't think there's any special washers other than the copper washers that go up here. I know in later ones they had seals and other stuff. It was kind of interesting. So I'm not going to sock these home too much, just not to put down pressure on that cork gasket. Feels pretty good. Bingo, closed up. One thing I also want to point out is the fitting that I put back here, I discovered needed to go up here. It's part of the breather system for the governor. So I need to find out what goes back here. I also have, there are 2 little ports down here that I need to find out what goes in those as well. So more to come on that. But I was also looking at whether I was going to put the water pump on or not. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet. I may not be able to spray enough behind it. So I might leave it off. I'll mask all this off. I can paint the block. I can paint the water pump and the water gooseneck separate. And then I can put those on after the whole engine's been painted. That way I can get paint on everything. I don't want to miss anything if I can help it at all. So at this point, other than missing a couple studs for the exhaust system, which I believe I have over there in my pile of parts that nobody know what went to, the engine's closed up. What I'll do is I'll mask everything off that can't get paint on it. We'll take it into paint, we'll get some red oxide on it, and we'll get some International Harvester red on it. We'll have a red engine that's done. So probably the next time you see me, we'll have the back plate on, everything will be red. I won't put any of the parts on the engine, I'll save that as we go, because we'll probably just hook what's here to the transmission first, then we'll add the other pieces on once that's all in place and established. So at this point, we are ready to go. We're ready for paint. And thank you guys for being here with me. We'll see you next time. And thanks again from All American Tractor Works. I'm Greg Nips.